Cut. Say it again. Cut. Hello, and welcome to Shake That Ass News. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Hayden Ho.
And it's your boy, Donovan A. I hope y'all are having a great day. And today we'll be talking about the Jean Lafitte National Historic Park and the Barataria Preserve, where there is much history, many threats, and strong management principles. What?
So let's start out with a brief history to cover all bases of the beginnings.
This swamp and marshlands are located along the southern Louisiana coast, just south of New Orleans.
Right.
And is a very harsh terrain for humans to live in.
Yeah, I bet.
However, over 2,000 years, Native Americans have lived in this land.
That's pretty crazy.
It is, and until around 1779, this land was used by the Native Americans, and then it was transitioned for agricultural use into plantations, for sugarcane production, and slaves were brought into this area. And so the name Jean Lafitte actually comes from a pirate.
Whoa.
A pirate that lived in this land. He used the swamps as a base of operations to raid the Gulf of Mexico. And in the surrounding area in 1815, he even participated in the Battle of New Orleans, which occurred there, which was a huge turning point in the War of 1812.
That's pretty crazy. Well, this park was established as a state park in 1966, right? Due to the cultural heritage. But then in 1978, it was established as a National Historical Preserve, IUCN category number 5, meaning it's a protected landscape and seascape. Now, this park has 6 different areas under the same name as the Barataria National Historical Preserve, right? That's a lot of threats, a lot of direct, indirect, and underlying causes. So, without further ado, let's get into them. Our focal threat for this presentation is coastal erosion and land loss. Seeing that the Barataria Historical Preserve is facing outwards towards the Gulf of Mexico, it's being battered by storms and hurricanes year-round that, I will say, are increasing. Every single year, Louisiana sees more and more storms per year.
And these storms bring in salt water, which mixes with these freshwater environments and ecosystems. This leads to brackish water, which again kills the local vegetation. Once it's gone, there's nothing holding the soil in place, fastening coastal erosion and land loss.
So, how about we get into some other threats that are impacting our focal threat?
And the preserve. The coast of Louisiana is a very diverse ecosystem with many direct threats. Land loss is a crucial aspect to this, where every year 25 to 40 square miles of land is lost to the Gulf of Mexico. Saltwater intrusion is a huge contributor to this due to canals and bayous being carved into the land to allow for logging and oil and gas exploration to occur. These canals and waterways allow for saltwater to have access deep inland, which then mixes with the freshwater, creating brackish water. These brackish ecosystems kills the local vegetation, which holds the soil in place, fastening erosion.
Another direct threat to this area are invasive species. Nutria are big rat-like creatures. They eat the vegetation, which keeps the soil in place. Once that soil is gone, the coast just washes it away. Apple snails, on the other hand, are another invasive species. They and their eggs are toxic and poisonous to humans. They lay about 200 to 600 eggs per sitting, and they don't have any natural predators. Neither do nutria.
Really? And where are they from?
They're from South America.
Sounds like a problem.
Sounds like a problem.
So, knowing our main focus being coastal land loss and erosion, there's got to be some threats that contribute to this. What would those be?
Indirect threats.
Indirect threats.
Oh yeah. So the first of them being oil exploration. In order for oil companies to come out and drill and exploit the land for petroleum, they need to create more canals and waterways to access the land. This leads to increased amounts of saltwater intrusion and expedition of the coastal land.
Another contributing or indirect threat would be the channelization of the Mississippi River. The channelization of the Mississippi River occurs through the building of levees, which are built alongside the river to prevent flooding. The levees protect human populations along the river, however, they prevent the nutrients being spread when the river floods. So all the nutrients are from all across the United States through the Mississippi River Basin are just dumped into the Gulf of Mexico, leading to the land, which is already weakened by saltwater intrusion, to not be replenished and fastening land loss.
This is tough, but this isn't the only thing contributing to our focal thread. We have underlying causes that are up next. So, you ready for that? Underlying causes are background factors that massively contribute to coastal erosion and land loss.
A major one of these is sea level rise. Louisiana, especially coastal Louisiana, is already at or below sea level. So any sea level rise can have drastic influences on coastal Louisiana and the Barataria Preserve. The root cause of this is obviously human impact, or human impacts leading to sea level rise. However, in this coastal Louisiana, sea level rise is very hard to combat due to its position at sea level.
Another underlying cause would be the lack of governmental protections. The Barataria Preserve has little to no governmental protection and or funding. Without the protection from the government regarding tourism and oil exploration, the preserve is bound to fail. With the land falling away so quickly, the government needs to exert its power to help protect the area and preserve the lines within.
Well, Louisiana is really known for its governmental competency, right? So how are these, we know about these direct, indirect, and underlying issues and threats to the park.
Right.
How are they managed?
Well, the Barataria Historical Preserve has been playing with the idea of building a rock wall at the east of the park to prevent storm surges from hurricanes and other storms. They act as a natural barrier, slowing down the rates of erosion. The protected area has also been outsourcing the data collection to local fisheries, excited locals, and other organizations involved with land loss, allowing them to have a broader understanding while not having to use their limited resources as a small park for their data collection themselves.
So limited resources has been a major reason why these initiatives have been largely unsuccessful. Lack of government funding combined with the lack of general public awareness and initiative to be involved with this issue and combating it has massively contributed to the scale of these issues, to where we've seen satellite imagery continues to show heightened loss of Louisiana's coastal terrains and ecosystems year after year.
There are a few management principles that we would like to mention that make this information a little bit more digestible.
Management principle number 7. A community is going to approach a damaged ecosystem much better and achieve conservation outcomes much better at a landscape level than an individual or NGO. So land loss in Louisiana is greatly affecting the local communities that live there, and organizations such as SWAMP or BICM or the Louisiana Department of Fish and Wildlife gathers data on this problem to better understand it and better fix it. However, a more community approach would and could influence better principles.
Another one is management principle number 6. The immediate and decisive intervention to deal with some threats may save significant future costs. The Barataria Preserve has got the green flag to start building a dam in the form of a rock wall. This will slow down hurricanes to get to the land and also prevent land loss. But the thing is we don't have that funding yet.
Another major issue we face is shifting baseline syndrome, where intergenerational divides occur when different generations have different perceptions of what the ecosystem is. So over time, the ecosystem changes where different generations have different ideas of the actual issues that the ecosystems approach. And this can lead to issues of different baselines. That's why shifting baseline syndrome. Different baselines of how can we approach changing this issue when different generations view the issues as different.
So in conclusion, the Barataria Historical Preserve has a long history, many threats, and many ways to manage them. Saltwater intrusion leading to land loss and coastal erosion has and forever will be a very big problem to these coastal areas.
Environmental perspectives of preservation have been very important at this time and are necessary in combating these issues. The concerns of surrounding people and communities needs to be addressed and in part of these conservation issues. The Barataria Historical Preserve would crumble without the efforts of government and community efforts. We need to increase awareness until one day we will see hopefully a steady incline of preservation and a limiting of coastal erosion and land loss.
So, for Stan, Shake That Ass News, I'm Hayden H.
And it's your boy, Donovan A. Have a great day, and don't forget,
Shake that ass for
news.
nature and preservation.
For nature and preservation.
What?